Welcome to the Mindset Design Podcast with your host, Arlin Moore. In this podcast, the hope is to provide the listener with actionable advice and inspiration to inspect their own mindset and make the changes they need to achieve success and fulfillment in their own life. If you'd like to support the show and learn more about mindset design, visit mindsetdesign.com or go to who.be/Arlin. That's hoo.be/Arlin. Or simply share an episode with a friend. That would be fire. Enjoy the show, and here's your host, Arlin.
What's up, guys? Whoa! What's up, guys? Welcome back to youtube.com/c/Arlin Moore. Here we go. We're going to record a pod. We've got a bunch of questions here, and we're just going to rip it and rip it. We're going to set this bad boy up here. I'm fired up today because I've just essentially signed a lease on my new spot, the new maxi spot. It's going to be epic. The new 8 a.m. house. 8 a.m.'s coming back, baby. Let's fucking go. And prepare for better audio. Prepare for better audio in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and are we good?
And here's your host, Arlin.
Money. Okay, I think we're rolling now. Are we rolling? Should we do a test? No, I sort of trust it in a weird way today. And yeah, let's move. Let's move into it. Okay, so the first question that we're going to answer is from Macy Atkins. Macy Atkins, what's up, Macy? Macy asks, how to not let others bring you down and to actually not give a fuck about what others think about you. Well, there's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I actually got really bored by this book, so I wouldn't really recommend it. But how to not let others bring you down and to actually not give a fuck about what other people think about you. So, I think realizing that actually your individuality is an advantage is a big point for this one. You know, if you're trying to fit in with a crowd, or if you're trying to... Whoop, that didn't work. If you're trying to please other people and you're trying to, fit in, you're never going to do anything noteworthy or interesting because you aren't embracing your individuality. There's an amazing quote I posted on my Instagram story that I think Tim Ferriss said it, and it was something along the lines of embrace the part of yourselves that makes you a little bit weird or a lot bit weird. Because that's usually the ticket to getting you all the things that you really want in life. So, embrace your individuality. Understand that if you're letting the thought of other people thinking your individuality is weird stop you, then you're just holding yourself back from achieving what you potentially could be achieving. And that sucks. So, don't let that happen to you. Do not let that happen to you. That would blow. So the next thing that I would recommend doing is realizing that anyone who's throwing hate on you, and also a lot of times we think, by the way, that people are hating on us more than they actually are. We think that, it's the spotlight effect. Like, we think people are thinking about this when they really aren't, because they're worried about what we're thinking about them. So, you kind of just realize that and you blow past that by taking action in the direction of whatever you want to take. I think you'll also find, too, that, the amount of hate that you get is usually a reflection of how much hate you think you're going to get. Like, I don't really ever worry about hate, and so I don't notice it. Like, maybe there is a little bit, but I just kind of blow past it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be me, 100%. And if someone drops a hate comment, I'm like, okay, 1, you're improving my engagement rate, which is amazing. Thank you for that. 2, I understand that, you're probably in a dark place if you're leaving a hate comment on the internet. So I wish you good vibes. And three, you know, it's very likely that again, if you're posting a hate comment, you don't really realize like that. Okay. So not only do I not care, but I don't even focus on it. I think the best way to deal with hate is to show that it just fundamentally doesn't affect you in any way, because it doesn't. It just really can't. Like, no matter what anyone says, I'm still going to do my thing. And on top of that, I always think about like if someone ever were to leave hate, I don't really care, because I then just double down on the people that love me. So when you, like, for example, Macy, you're obviously a fan of this podcast. I would think that you're not doing this for some weird spam reason, You're obviously a fan of me. So I'm doubling down on you by answering this question in depth so that you like me more, so that if anyone were to talk badly about me, I'd have you, Macy, behind my back, like, be like, no, Arlen's the man. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps, Macy. Cool. All right. Next question from Magia Sophia. Hi, Arlen. Something that I would love to hear your thoughts on is how you create specific goals when you're interested in so many different career paths. For example, I'm majoring in interior design and fashion communication. However, I am also interested in creating content. These are just blue light blockers, by the way. I don't actually wear glasses, but sometimes I do. Blue light blockers. However, I am also interested in creating content for brands, films, fitness, and psychology. I feel quite overwhelmed when I'm trying to get specific with my goals, since I just want to try everything. Currently, I have been doing internships across those different industries so that I can get experience and see what I enjoy the most. What are some other ways I could create clear short-term goals? Thanks. So, Maija, I think I might have said your name wrong. Maija. Really, the big thing here that I think I'm actually best at, which is one thing I do a lot in my mentoring group, is I'm really good at helping people find synergy between between all of their different interests. Like, I'm really good at saying, okay, you're into interior design, fashion, and communication, but you also are into branding, film, fitness, and psychology. I would, like, if I were to have a real conversation with you, I would talk to you and I'd be like, let's see how we can combine all of those into one. Okay. And, just off the top of my head, I think starting a personal brand where you just basically share everything that you're interested in would be an amazing, amazing tool for you. So I would really recommend, making a YouTube channel or a podcast or TikTok content that just is you sharing and talking about whatever it is that gets you excited. That ultimately, I think, is going to take you a long way. So, that's another thing too. That's one really great thing about this podcast format I've set up. I also set you up with a Maxi success coach to go in depth and talk about this. And you have that opportunity whenever you schedule your call. If you want to ask me a question and be on this show, just go to mindsetdesign.com/askarlin, and you can ask me a question for the show. I'll give you my in-depth answer. And then you also get set up with one of my Maxi success coaches who I have been training for over a year's time and has been really changing people's lives. And it's an amazing thing I've put together. Pat myself on the back. So that being said, Maija, I would look for the synergy. I would get a big whiteboard, okay? Get a big whiteboard and just write out all the things you're interested in and see if you can find synergy in how can you combine all the things that you like? Because that makes you unique. The fact that you have all these different interests makes you someone that, you can create something really, really unique that a specific type of person will resonate with. And that's what makes the world interesting. So that should carry you to an interesting place. Now, let's just say another strategy I might recommend that you do is just writing out all of your specific or different or varying goals and such, or various interests. And on a scale of 1 to 10, writing out which one of these you enjoy the most, 10 being you enjoy them more than anything. And there might be, if you actually do the analysis, there might be 2 or 3 things that you enjoy far more than all the rest. And then what you can do is take those three things and see if you can somehow blend them together. So that's another route that you can take. Now, it also might be of benefit to you to make a list of like all your skills that you think you have and all the skills you would need to be good in all of these different areas, and then circle the ones that you sort of are naturally exceptional at, or that you naturally have Olympian standards of skill set. And then you want to, of course, figure out a way to hone in on those skills. Now, when it comes to setting specific goals, I recommend a couple things. One, getting very clear on the on the impact metric. The impact metric is basically the number that quantifies your impact. So, for example, if you are running and this is just the first thing that came to mind, my friend's running a C-word testing business, and his impact metric is number of samples collected. So if his business collects, X amount of samples, let's just say 10,000 samples a week, then that would be an indicator that his goal is achieved if he wanted to, get 10,000 samples in the week, because it shows how much impact his business is having, how much value he's bringing to the world. So for me, a big impact metric is how many people listen to this episode, but not necessarily even that, but how many people respond positively to this episode. How many people share this episode on their story is a good impact metric. You can have a few, but you also really want to dial in on like what is the most important metric overall. Ultimately, when you are able to pick that impact metric and start to measure it and track it over time, it's one of the most rewarding things that you can do. And, you'll also want to have and set a specific goal for like a revenue objective, but understand that the revenue objective is different because that's a value capture metric. That has nothing to do with the value you create. I mean, it's obviously correlated, but it's a result of the impact metric. So the more value you create, the higher the correlation between the impact metric and the value capture metric. So I just threw a lot at you. I'm sorry. But I hope that thinking at least puts you down the right path. All right, next question from Joshua Eaton. Josh asks, how do I understand myself better while going through hard times mentally? How do I understand myself? This is actually a very philosophical question, Joshua. How to understand myself better while going through hard times mentally? Well, yeah, I like this question because it's kind of different. It's not like how do I get through hard times? It's how do I understand myself better? Yeah, I think, talking the problems out with close friends, with even potentially a therapist, can help you to understand why you're going through a tough time. And also, investing in programs, investing in personal development courses, increasing your time in meditation are all amazing ways to just deal with going through hard times. I have actually for you, Joshua, a playlist on my second channel. If you go to youtube.com and you type in Mindset Design 30-Day Awakening Challenge, there is this playlist that I created, which is 30 days to basically get out of hard times. And if you actually do it every day for 30 days, it's going to be super, super helpful. So I hope that helps, Joshua. Next question from Jake. Jake asks, context. For the last several months, I have been extremely interested in Shopify and starting my own brand. I have ran one ad campaign for a store that resulted in 0 sales. I'm not frustrated, but I want to learn. I know very little about Maxi, but I've watched the full podcast with Sanjay, and I want to shift onto the same path as him. So here's the question. How exactly will Maxi put me on that path? Or to be even more specific, how will Maxi help me reach my first sale? Well, there's obviously different aspects of Maxi. If you're talking about the Maxi mentoring program, which Sanjay was one of the first members of, you obviously get to work with me specifically and a community of people. I mean, you could work with Sanjay, and there's also tons of other people who have Shopify brands and brands in general in the program that you can network with and bounce ideas off of. So having a group of friends to give you feedback and me to give you feedback based on the brands that I built, Maxi, 8am, and obviously my personal branding, YouTube channel, and Instagram. So, you get me as a mentor, and then in addition to that, you get to use Maxi, the AI, which in my eyes is one of the most effective tools toward getting you to focus on the things in your business that actually produce results. So you not only have the human element of like me pushing you, but you have an actual tool that gets you transforming yourself into a person that is focusing on the most important metrics and the most important aspects of growing your business. So, there's so many like different ways that your life improves as a result of joining Maxi, because I also basically built it around this philosophy I named the upward spiral. So there's downward spirals, right? Where, you get into a breakup and then you get depressed and then you eat unhealthy and then you get overweight and then you don't hang out with friends as much and then it just goes down and down. And I've been in that, but I've also been in an upward spiral where Maxi and the Maxi mentoring program shoots you into an upward spiral where, because you focus on your health and fitness, you're able to focus more at work. Because you're able to focus more at work, you're able to make more money. Because you make more money, you can make more interesting travel connections and plans and make friends with people around the world. And because you do that, then you just get happier and happier. And because you meditate, you get happier. And because you're happier, you get more productive in work. And because you're more productive in work, it's an upward spiral. So that's a few ways that Maxi can help you. I mean, you're going to talk to one of my coaches a lot more about the program, and they can provide you more insight into that. But let me see if I can just give you some advice, even though I don't know a lot about your sales or your store. The first thing I'd say is you got to expect to lose money in the first several months of opening your brand, because you are learning. It's not a loss that you lost money with your first ads. It's a lesson, and a lesson is a big win. So, you have to kind of expect to take L's, but L's equal lessons for a little while. And obviously joining some type of mastermind group or group like mine will help to propel you and keep you focused, and also bring you different sets of eyes who have been successful and can show you where you've messed up. So, I hope that all of that helps. I guess there's not much more I can say, Jake, because I don't know exactly what your brand is, but you can go in depth on it with the Maxi coach that you get connected to. Cool. All right, next question comes from Gavin. How do you start and fall in love with the process of bettering yourself? I know there's a ton of untapped potential, but starting the process seems like a huge uphill battle. So, Gavin, I think the biggest thing I can tell you is that I had a huge realization. There's a little story for you. So when I was a youngin', when I was 18, I watched a TED Talk by a guy named Ty Lopez. He's the guy who's famous for his Lamborghini in the garage YouTube ad. And I saw his TED Talk, and he just said something, and he was like, it was this one line that clicked, and he said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of the smartest people in the world have taken their best ideas about how to make money, about how to be happier, about how to get into personal development, about how to find your dream girlfriend or boyfriend. And they have put their ideas and written them down in books, and they've put them out there for free. You can literally go to your local library and check out any book you want for free. And I was like, oh, so if I want to learn how to make money, I can just get a book on it? If I want to learn how to be better at talking to people, I can just search YouTube? Okay. And then I just started doing it and trying it, and I was like, oh shit, this works. So I guess that's the mindset that I still think about today. It's oh, well, if I want to build a $100 million business, then I just listen to podcasts and read books by people who've done the same. Boom. Is that not motivating? I hope it is. Our next question comes in from Sam Adams. Sam, I graduated high school a year ago and don't have any desire for college. Not a problem. Besides the social aspect, I live in a small town and work for my dad. I plan on saving money and to move to a bigger city in a year. But in the meantime, how can I use the law of attraction to get a new friend group and share my lust for life and interests? Well, I would recommend, Sam, literally just defining the specific types of people that you want to put into your life. So define all the types of friends that would be in your dream social life. Just literally define them. Like make a list. Like I want a funny friend who has this quality and this quality and this quality. I want a female friend who is a YouTuber. This quality, this quality, this quality. I want a girlfriend who looks like this and has this type of personality and is interested in doing this. I want, a group of friends that like to go party. So the first step is definition. Most people don't even define what they want. So if you define it, you're halfway there. Then once you define them, honestly, going out and meeting them and finding them becomes a lot easier. You'll be, through the law of attraction, you'll be led down paths to finding them. You might invest in a social dynamics course, a course that teaches you how to be better at networking. You might watch a bunch of videos on YouTube that teach you how to make friends better. And yeah, I mean, the first step is honestly, Sam, is just literally defining it. And then I would give you another shortcut, I think, is really focusing on social media, like making yourself the person that the people in your friend group that you're defining would want to hang out with online, and then actually becoming that person in person as well. Like build something that gives you gravity. While you're working for dad, why don't you start a side hustle? Why don't you start an online brand, a clothing brand, a YouTube channel, a TikTok account, something that gives you weight and something that gives you gravity that other people look at and they want to be a part of it. So, Sam, I hope that helps. Everyone else, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Mindset Design Podcast with me. That's Arlin. And if you want to ask me a question, mindsetdesign.com/askarlin. And I'll see you in the next episode. All right. Peace.